Hello, it's Ricardo and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Had this game for a while, potter around in it here and now, but now I've got a Tobii Eye Tracker 5. I wanted to see how easy it was to get that working with Microsoft Flight Simulator. That sort of VR experience without having a cumbersome headset. Let's take a look. So here we are, you can see me departing London Heathrow in my little flying washing machine. Yes, it's the good old Cessna. I'm not climbing too steeply, I'm just having a really good look around. Fly from Heathrow quite a bit, it's quite nice to see it. Excellent attention to detail. Tobii Eye Tracker is working really well. Looking around, absolutely fantastic. Seeing all that level of detail you don't normally see. You know, and I think it's cool stuff. As we turn and bank now around over these big bodies of water, we can see what looks to be the M25. Yes, look at all the traffic that's down there. Funnily enough, like people and cars moving through the traffic to get that illusion of distance, which is all good stuff. We're coming up over Windsor, having a good look round of the surroundings. I'm loving it, loving it. How cool is this? So we're heading westbound, which is absolutely great. Got to do the thing and fly over the house, haven't you? Let's see how we do. But anyway, either way, I can press Control F12 and that turns the head tracking off. I can still use my mouse. This is where games like X4 and Elite Dangerous fall down, but Flight Simulator has done it perfectly. Turned off my head tracking, can still use the mouse. No dramas. If I want to center, all I gotta do, Control and F12 and then Shift and F12 to turn that back on. It's cool stuff. You know, it really is cool stuff. Fantastic level of immersion here. Well, we're looking out the window. This has got to be, we've got to be coming up on Old Windsor.
Tower Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra frequency change. Approach Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is type Cessna 152 5 miles west of
I love it.
1,700
it's great,
feet.
and I haven't got to put a heavy VR headset on my head. How cool is this? And relatively easy to set up straight off the bat. However, you can go in there and start messing about with things like sensitivity. So here we are looking at the Tobii Eye Tracker setup. Pretty straightforward, to be perfectly honest with you. Unbox it, you take all the instruments out of the box, the cables, the adhesive stickers, and away you go. Now, Tobii Eye Tracker does give you that VR-like experience, that head tracking and eye tracking experience in your game. So you do see that extra percentage of the screen. So, in the context, though, of Microsoft Flight Simulator, there's a few things we have to do once you get it out of the box. And namely, the first thing we have to do is get yourself over to gaming.tobii.com, their website, and get the drivers and all the other software installed. Pretty straightforward solution. You go up to products, you can find your product there, read all about it, no problem. You then go over to downloads, and once you're on downloads, you can see all the software for your particular product. You select Tobii as the hardware, because it's a Tobii Eye Tracker 5. And then you can turn around and install the driver. Now, what typically happens, especially Windows 10, Windows 11, you plug your Tobii Eye Tracker USB device into a USB port, and with Windows switched on and doing its windowy thing, it will then install a driver automatically, you would think. Sometimes it does not, though. If it doesn't, click on the Tobii icon and it will take you to the download page. You can then select which particular hardware that you want. This is a Tobii Eye Tracker 5, so that's what I'd be selecting, and then it'll download it, you can install it, and away you go. Couldn't be any easier than that, could it? Now, as I'm on Windows 11, I'm using Edge. So when I do a download of this particular driver, it'll go into my downloads folder. From my downloads folder, once it's obviously downloaded, hey, you know what I mean? I'm just going to download that driver. Once I've downloaded it, however, it's going to be worthwhile having a look at those release notes. And it's always a good idea to look through the release notes as well, I find, to see what's been fixed over a period of time. Okay, we've downloaded our file to our Tobii Eye Tracker 5, and we're going to get that device driver installed. Double clicking on the Tobii Eye Tracker offline installer that we got from their website is going to provide us with the installation of the software. It does take a few seconds, however, although Microsoft's idea of a few seconds can be anything from 60 seconds to 1, depending on your system. Now, this also turns around and lets you start to configure. Now, it says here, and it prompts you all the way through, get an app to open this Tobii eye tracking link. Your PC does not have an app that can open this link. Try looking for a compatible app in the App Store. You can browse the App Store at this stage, eventually, and here's the Tobii Experience, which happens to be free. We can say yes, we'll get that. Now, straight off the bat, you can see the Tobii Experience has downloaded, which is all great stuff, and it's playing a little video giving you a demonstration of what it's like in a particular truck driving simulator or in a third-person war game. All good stuff, and you can see the benefits that it's actually giving you in-game. So that's okay. We're going to get started, and we're going to click the Get Started button. Right, here's the deal. We've got the standard enterprise end-user license agreement. They say they do not track what you see or what apps you're using. Instead, we sense and respond to your movements. So there's a disclaimer. They don't see what you see and they don't track what you're using. We're going to say accept. And here we go. Now, where is your eye tracker? So it's on this display. I'm running 2 monitors. If I wanted to go on another display, my secondary display, for example, I would click this button here, this monitor, and it would shift to my secondary monitor. But I'm happy with this being my main display, and this is where I'm going to be using my Tobii Eye Tracker 5. Okay, now this is quite interesting. On your Tobii Eye Tracker 5, you're going to have on top of it 2 white lines. Now these 2 white lines not only tell you it's the right way up, but then so does the Tobii logo on the front. If the words are the right way up, you've got it the right way up. What you have to do here is move the lines to the marks on top of your eye tracker. Now placing the flex mount. This is the mount that is going to enable you to magnetically hold your Tobii Eye Tracker to your monitor. Now, there's a little bracket that comes with the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 that's got a magnetic strip on the back of it. Also, there's one that you can just stick to the outside bezel of your monitor, depending on how you want to do it. If you want to stick it so it hangs just underneath, like a chin, at the bottom of your monitor, then this is the little device for you. I haven't actually got mine attached to my monitor. I've got it resting on a speaker just above it. Works perfectly fine, but it's perfectly up for you. Now you get 2 magnetic strips that can attach to the monitor in the box and 1 bracket. So if you want to change monitors, then you can. But peel the stickies off, make sure it's all wiped down with the alcohol cloth, stick it on there, leave it for 24 hours. That's the easiest thing and the best way I can say. The application of that is easy. It's a heavy old device. That's why they say leave it 24 hours for the glue to stick on. Once it's stuck on, it'll take it, no problem at all, and you'll be able to alter it upwards and downwards so you can get the best version of tracking for your face. And whether or not you've stuck it to the top bezel of your monitor or the bottom bezel of your monitor, depending on what you've done with it, you know, wherever you've stuck this eye tracker, you have to make sure that these arrows here line up with the lines that you've got on your screen by default. Now, I'm making a slight adjustment where I think they are by moving these arrows here. And when I'm ready and convinced that's what it is, I'm going to click Done. Next up, it says sit in an upright position, your standard gaming position. And once I've done that, I'm going to click Done. Now it's going to show me where my eyes are. Now really these should be most in the middle of the screen as you possibly can. Well, this is how I sit. There's no other way of doing that. You could raise or lower your seat. Now we're going to calibrate at the eyes. Look at the dot in the middle and it'll explode. Look at the top dot. Look at the bottom right. Look at the bottom left. Okay, we're going to go for an inverted triangle. Straight at the bottom, it's exploded. There you go, it exploded again. And that one. Might need a bit of further calibration. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to say calibration successful. We're going to call it Ricardo 1. And perhaps I'll do it in proper case. There's my Ricardo 1. No problem. So if you've got multiple people using the same PC, you can set up different calibration profiles for the people who use your PC. Save. Brilliant. Well, that's all done now. As you can see from this, we've got game, stream, privacy, productivity. What I'm particularly interested in, and is the scope of this video, is to click on this profile by here, right there, and it brings up the Tobii experience. Well, the experience is on, and if you've got your Tobii Eye Tracker 5 plugged into your PC at the moment, you'll see all the scanning lights are on and it's looking at my face. Now, to improve calibration, if you've changed where the PC is or the lighting's drastically changed, you can go through that entire initial setup once again. You can say improve calibration just to go through this, but it'll say these are your eyes. Okay, those are my eyes. It's seen my eyes. My eyes are there. There you go. Good old eyes. Now we're going to look at the dots again. So I'm looking directly at that dot in the middle. Kapow, and it's exploded. So it's just getting you to go through. Perhaps there might be some slight changes in where you've been sitting. Now it's the inverse triangle. There you go. It's got a problem that top left-hand corner. Don't know what's going on there. Calibration successful. But it could go a lot smoother. But it's up to you to tweak that to get the best results. So I've improved my calibration. Next thing, preview my gaze. Well, what's it actually seeing and tracking? Well, this is the ghost that I told you about. Wherever I'm looking, that's where it's tracking my eyes, my head, and all that. Now, if you want to move the sensor to a different monitor, again, you can set up the display, and that goes through the whole palaver of adjusting the lines and everything. And at that point, you can then turn around and say, ooh, I might want to create another user profile. But at this stage of the game, this is the Tobii eye tracking kind of setup, right, in a standard configuration. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to install Ghost and the Game Hub. Always wise to have the driver installed and the Tobii experience straight off the bat. It may also prompt you for Visual Studio extendables, but it'll also prompt you to download those part of the installation process. So we're going to install Tobii Ghost. We're going to have a desktop shortcut and also a start menu shortcut. Confirm, and it gives us, after a short installation, this, which is brilliant. We've got the option to have a plugin for Stream Deck. We can say get plugin, and then we can go open the Stream Deck and you can say install. This is the Elgato Stream Deck website. As you can see, I've got my Stream Deck all down here already. There's my Tobii Ghost, there's the enable, and there's the select profile aspect of things. So with this, what you can do, you've got an enable button. No problem. You've got the select profile. I got one for bubble and one for heat map, and we'll go into that a little bit later. But I just wanted to show you that it does integrate well into Stream Deck. Right, so okay. we've got the ghost. Now we're going to go into settings, which is all great, well and good. Now you have the option on the left hand side to stream using the Twitch extension, and it's going to ask you to go in there and validate against your Twitch account, which you can do. You can also then embed Ghost into the content of which you create. Again, I think I'll do a different video on this, as this is specifically how to get it working in Elite Dangerous. But what we've got here is the Tobii Ghost section of things. Now, with Tobii Ghost, you can turn it on and turn it off. So to turn it off, there's a selection number pad. All right. So that number pad, if I press 2 on the number pad, outside of my Stream Deck, I can turn Tobii Ghost off. If I want to preview what I'm seeing, I can just put it on there, no problem at all. Customize the appearance. We can restore it to default. Now, what I've done here is that I've got a profile named Bubble, and you can see I've got bubbles on the screen. That's okay, and that's going to come into Stream Deck in a moment. If I click on my Stream Deck and look at Bubble, I've dragged the select profile over into this area. I've called it Bubble, and I've called the profile Bubble as well. Now if I switch to heat map, right, you can see where my eyes are tracking has changed from the lovely red bubble to the heat map. Okay, and you can set how that degrades and decays on the screen as to not make a right mess. Personally, stick with bubble. I'm alright with that. And you can set the size of that bubble as well, right? You can just move it down so it's smaller. And then once you've done that, you update the profile. Okay, so you can select whether you want a solid shape, you want a bubble, or you want a heat map, and then assign them to different profiles. But I'm going for bubble, and that suits me fine. You can also stipulate what color you want. Now for me, I've got a slight visual impairment after having eye surgery, and dark blues are not for me. I'm not really going to see it. I want something that's going to catch my eye, so whether it's going to be yellow, whether it's going to be red. And once you've made those changes, again, update your profile. Now the decay, you can set. The trail you can set, or you can set everything, discard those settings and have it as you just had it, or have it restored to default right there. So it's worthwhile mentioning a little bit now in regards to what's happening around with Twitch. Select on that. You can now transfer your eye tracking data to Twitch and adjust the latency to synchronize the Ghost virtualization to your video stream, which is all good stuff, right? If you want to. I've actually got it connected to my Ricardo's Gaming 71 Twitch account, where I stream on Saturdays and Sundays with Elite Dangerous. And I've also got the tracked area. Now my stream comes out in 1920 by 1080, so that's going to be my tracked area. Now, you can also embed Ghost into the content while also using the Twitch extension. All right, but I'm not going to go there just yet. And I'm going to have a pop-up for Twitch viewers, which will show viewers a pop-up introducing eye tracking when they open up our stream. Because, hey, it's a little bit of advertising, is it not? Finally, now it's all about the Tobii Game Hub. And again, once again, you can create a desktop shortcut and a start menu shortcut. Because you've got your Tobii Eye Tracker 5 plugged into the computer, then you can see the input device has been picked up. If that is not showing up, then I would repeat the previous steps once again. So, okay, and you can go to the gaming.tobii.com website to pull up a different help troubleshooting information. Or give me a shout in the comments, I'll endeavour to help you out. This Game Hub now is what links the Tobii Eye Tracker to your games and the games that you want. Here you've got new games that have been supported. Camera Boost is now in DCS World and soon to be in Elite Dangerous, and you can learn a little bit about that. So what is indeed Camera Boost? Well, as it says here, Camera Boost creates an additional boost to your head tracking rotation when you rotate your head towards where you are looking on the screen. The boost gets stronger the further from the center of the screen you are looking, and we'll have a good old look at that. And Elite Dangerous is due to release on July 25th. But all cool stuff. And it says it's already in Star Citizen, War Thunder, DCS, X-Plane 12 and 11. Okay, so that's what it is so far, and as they get released, we'll update amendments to this video. So what we're going to do, out of here now, we're going to go into our games, click on games, and it'll see straight away, we'll do a quick refresh, all the games that currently are supported by the Tobii Eye Tracker hardware and software. Now you can see good old Farming Simulator, I'm a fan, Euro Truck Simulator, American Truck Simulator, X4 Foundation, Star Citizen, and Elite Dangerous. Elite Dangerous and the Tobii Eye Tracker 5. Now with Microsoft Flight Simulator, Tobii Eye Tracking is indeed built in. It didn't used to be, but now they have. And that's the good thing about it. It's all off the control menu. However, you have to set some keys up to enable it, and then disable it, and then also to center it, all that sort of thing. And then you can also go for the sensitivity inside Microsoft Flight Simulator as well. You can have it to track your eyes, you can have it to track your head, you can have it to track both if you want. Either way, it adds that added layer of realism into the game. It really does. I was so impressed with this. I'm not a big flight sim player, as you can probably see. I like my Elite Dangerous, I like my other space sims, but something honed in the real world, I'm not that au fait with it, and it's something I'm gonna learn. So here I am in an F-16 doing my funky thing, glancing around at the bits of the screen I wouldn't normally see, all the environment around me, having a good eye, glancing at my instruments. It really is something else. I think it does add that extra level of realism. So what do we got to do inside Microsoft Flight Simulator, right, to get this to work? Right, let's get through it. We are with our plane. No dramas there at all whatsoever. This is perhaps the most basic of planes we could possibly have. And we're going to see how we can get the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 working for that. Well, good news. It's kind of already built in. We go to the controls options over here, and you'll see at the top there's already some level of functionality up there already. But if we go here and we say search and we say head tracking, you can see the key that's been assigned to turn the head tracking on and off. I got it bound to control F12 because there was nothing on that at all whatsoever. Good work. And that keybind was empty. Now, if we just type in eye tracking reset, this will center your vision in the middle of the cockpit, which is good stuff, right? And that's set to Shift F12. Okay, no problem. And the way you do this, you just click on that by there, you select on scanning, you type Shift F12, you validate it. Okay, and away you go. So, all that is what you do so far. Isn't that good stuff? I thought it was good stuff. This is basic head tracking as it stands. Turning it on and off. Now, are things a little bit too twitchy? Are things a little bit too sensitive for you? Get yourself back into the control options of things. Now, with the profile that's been set up and that you're currently using with your keybinds, and let's, for example, look at the Tobii profile, click on sensitivity for your current profile, and then it'll bring up all the different aspects that you can change. Now, we've got eye versus head tracking ratio, eye tracking responsiveness, all these default settings. If they're too much for you, this is where you can tone it down a little bit. And if it goes horribly wrong, you can reset it to default standards by hitting the big blue bar at the bottom. So, for example, some are basically on and off, right? Others will let you go down in gradients. And if you get it horribly wrong, hit reset and you start from the very beginning. I didn't do an awful lot of changing here. I thought it was perfectly fine for me as it was. But like I say, any changes, don't worry about it. Hit that reset button. Now, the eye versus head tracking ratio is quite good because it allows you to set, well, do you want it looking at your eyes? Do you want it looking at your head? That sort of thing, right? How do you want it? I want it tracking a lot of my stuff, right? I want it tracking to give me the best experience. So make sure you just turn around and you save the settings. Now, with it turned off, by pressing the Control 12 key or whatever key you've bound to turn in tracking off or centering, as soon as you turn it back on again, if it's too twitchy for you, just test it out. See if it's right for you. That's the best thing that I can suggest. It's going to be trial and error. Like I say, I left all mine for standard. Hit that reset button and you're away if you make any cock-ups. Okay, here we go. So here's my disclaimer. I haven't done this for a while. We'll see if I still got it. Okay, we're going to edge forwards. Looking down, we got our throttle down there. Get us moving. Here's the engines. We're going to look where we're going. Tobii Eye Tracker working really well. I've got V-Sync switched on. I was getting a little bit of screen tearing in regards to this. Just going to slow it down a little bit. You know, I don't want to be going bonkers. We're going to get onto the centre line. So I'm using my rudder. Not that I've got rudder pedals, I haven't. We're going to stop. I think we stopped. Brilliant.
Power to mill and keep the jet centered down the runway.
Right then. Power to mill. You can see mill just there. There we are, we're power to mill.
Advance the throttles, power to mill.
And we're off.
Okay, max power.
We are max power, everybody. Finger lifts. We're off. We're there. We're there. We're there. We're taking off.
Retract your gear and then
We're going to get onto 10.
Start climbing. Aim your velocity vector at 10 degrees on your pitch scale. As you pass through 300
Gear.
knots, pitch your nose up 45 degrees for the unrestricted climb. Gear up.
Now we're going to 45 degrees. I'm going to try and maintain that. There you go, we kind of got it.
Not bad, but remember, every time
We've done it.
there's always something
That wasn't
can
so
be
bad,
improved.
but I find it
Always
easier
be aware
now I've
of
got the
pitch
eye
scale,
tracking
maintain
in,
a
which is
consistent
fantastic.
climb. It's 10
You know,
degrees for the initial portion.
I didn't realise it would be that, you know, difficult. That's not bad. Not my personal best, but it's not bad. I'm happy with the B grade, to be perfectly honest. There you go, Tobii Eye Tracker in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Couldn't be easier. Quite simplistic to set it up. A little bit tricky on the sensitivity. I just left it as it was and it worked perfectly fine for me. How it'll go on as I progress through the game? I don't know. You know, let me know what you think of the Tobii Eye Tracker in the comments. Did you find, if you got one, did you find the setup easy enough? Any problems in any of the games? I'd love to know what problems you're having. I had none. Has to be said, other than the view inside the cockpit. Anyway, I've been Ricardo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.